So, dear student, good afternoon all of you. As we studied at the last class, we have completed a root, okay, in a morphology of flowering plant. Morphology of flowering plant. As we completed root, okay, at the last class we have completed root, okay. In that root we have studied root origin. In this we have studied how actually root is arising, from which portion of a embryonic structure root is going to be arise. We have done that one. Okay. Next we have done different reason on root. This is also we have done at the last class. There is another important thing you should know about this root for purpose of a NEET examination. That is nothing but a modification of. That is nothing but modification of. Okay. So in this class we are going to deal completely with the modification of root. Okay. So before understand this modification of root, you should know the main function of root. Okay. As we know, the main function of root is absorption. Main function of the root is absorption. Absorption of what? Minerals and water. Okay. Water and minerals. Actually, nature has been developed this root structure to absorb mineral and water simultaneously. It will give support also. Okay, support also. Okay, this is the common function of a root where we have studied. But this root only got some modification in that structure to perform other function except the absorption of a water and giving support to the plant and providing encourage to the plant. About these function, except these function, it will perform some special functions. Those are considered as a modification of root. Those are going to deal in a modification of root. We'll see one by one. Okay. So in a root modification, there is a three modified structures are. There is a three modified structures. Which are those? The first one is supporting structure. Second one is storage, and third one is respiration. These three modifications are. When we see in a supporting structure, we used to get two type of modifications. Which are those? Those are nothing but one is prop root. Okay. Another one is stilt root. Okay. One is prop root. Another one is stilt root. Okay. When we see the storage, okay, these are the modification of a root where they are store food for a storage of food. Okay. This is a storage of food. they used to become bulbous themselves. They used to make themselves bulbous and store food in the form of a starch. Okay. Next is respiratory roots. They are help in respiration. Help in respiration. Okay. Respiration. Okay. They are helping respiration. When we see the actual example for this prob root and stilt root, the example for prob root, the best example is banyan. Okay, the best example is banyan tree, which actually give the support to the plant. As we discussed at last class, these prob roots are arise from a nodal region of nodes of a branch in the banyan. Okay. Next is storage. Another example in this stilt root only. There is a two example for this one. One is sugar cane. Okay. Another one is maize. Okay. All you have seen at a crop field, the sugar cane usually have a structure like this. The sugar cane have a structure like this. Okay. Where which have a stem, node and internode. At a bottom node of the stem, which used to form a roots which are penetrate soil, which gives support to the whole plant. As same we used to see in a maize also. They are also present at a nodal bottom region of nodal region. They used to form roots. They are going to be penetrate soil and they used to give mechanical support to the whole plant. Okay, this is about the prob root and stilt root. When we see the storage root are those roots which are store food. Okay, those are help in the storage of food. Okay, example for this one is turnip. Okay, next carrot. Okay, and radish. Radish. Okay, and sweet potato. Okay, these all are example for storage root. They are going to be store food or starch in the form of a root. Okay, they used to make themselves in a bulbous in underground. They used to store food. Example is turnip, carrot, radish and sweet potato. Okay, next another type of root modification, that is respiratory roots. Okay, this respiratory roots help in a respiration. For this one there is one good example, that is nothing but a rhizophora. Okay, this is a good example. This rhizophora we used to found at a brackish water, nothing but near to the coastal region where streams are going to be merged in a ocean. Okay, at that place we used to call that as a mangrove region. Okay, mangrove forest. Okay, mangrove forest. The mangrove forests are made up of rhizophora plants. Okay, they used to form root structure. Here in this plant, the root structures are negatively geotrophic. Okay, the root structures are negatively geotrophic. Nothing but they used to grow opposite to the gravitation, or they used to came out from a soil and they have a pore. Okay, they have a pore. Through that pore, they used to consume or they used to accumulate oxygen from atmosphere to fulfill their oxygen requirement in a plant. This special structure we used to see in a rhizophora that is present in a mangrove forest. Okay, this is about a negatively geotrophic plant. Okay, so those structures are commonly look like this. These are a root structure. They have pores. Through those pores, they used to absorb oxygen and they used to provide to the plant. This is about a modification of root. Hope all you got about this one. That is the about a modification of root. Okay, so by these we used to complete according to our NCERT. We have completed about the root. Next is stem. Okay, next is we are going to deal with the stem. Okay, which is also another characteristic of a stem. Okay, that is stem. Another main important morphological character of a plant where we are going to deal in a morphology of flowering plant. Okay. The another morphological and important character of a flowering plant is that is stem. Okay, that is stem. When we see the stem structure, it is a aerial structure. Okay, as we see in root. Okay, we have seen already root. Okay, next this is a aerial portion. Actually, this is arise from embryonic axis at that plumule. Okay, in embryonic axis, that is arise from a plumule. Okay. Okay, from plumule, the shoot portion is arise. That too in a shoot portion, this stem is going to be arise from a plumule. Okay, so when we see the stem used to possess at the apical region, apical bud. Okay, apical bud. These apical buds are made up of meristematic cells. Okay, this apical region of shoot is made up of meristematic cells. The meristematic cell function is continuously dividing. Okay, due to the division of continuous, the structure or length of the stem is going to be increased. Okay, this another important character of a stem is it showcase node and intern. Okay, these at a frequent time. Okay, frequently they have a nodes. Okay, this is called as a node. Okay, this is also node. Okay, in between two node, there is a intern. Okay, node and intern. One is which used to showcase apical bud, which is accumulation and group of meristematic cell that used to divide continuously. Due to that, it is going to be increased continuously. Okay, next the stem, another important character. The stem's another important character is it used to showcase node and intern. Okay, node is nothing but a bulbous region. Frequently, there is a bulbous region on a stem that is called as a node. In between two nodes, there is a space that is called as a intern. Okay, so this is intern. This is node. Okay, this is node. Okay, in between two nodes, there is a intern. Okay, from this nodal region only, leaves are going to be formed. From this nodal region only, leaves are going to be formed. We'll see how actually. Okay, I'll grab this one. this portion and here to understand better. Okay, so here leaves are going to be arise from a nodal region. Leaves are going to be arise from nodal region. Okay, so leaves are arise from a nodal region of a stem. And another important character is, as we studied apical bud, it used to form another type of bud that is called as a axillary bud. Okay, the stem used to possess another type of bud that is nothing but axillary bud. Okay, as you know, axil means angle between two portions. Okay, axil means something related to the angle. Okay, something related to the angle. When we see the angle between leaf, petiole and stem, okay, angle between leaf, petiole and stem, there is one angle. This region is called as a axil. This region is called as a axil. At that axil portion, a bunch of cells or a group of cells are going to be accumulated. The group of cells are going to be accumulated. The group of cells are going to be accumulated. Those are called as a axillary bud. That structure is called as a axillary bud. That structure is called as a axillary. The function of this axillary bud is, this axillary bud is only responsible for formation of a branch or flower. Okay, from this axillary bud only we used to get branch and flower. This is about a stem. Okay, the main aerial portion, a stem function is, it used to make elaborate branching. Okay, branching of stem. Okay, make elaborate branching of stem. These are the function of a stems. Okay, function of a stem. Okay, and it used to give mechanical support. It used to give mechanical support also. Okay, due to stem only the whole plant is going to be get a mechanical support now. So mechanical support, and it used to form for a production of branches. If branches is increased, means of course leaves also increase. Of course leaves. Okay, and flower. Okay, and fruits. These all are going to be increased. This is the main function of a stem. Okay, so actually this stem where we got as we know the stem portion which is arise, as I told you, that is a plumule. Okay, it is an aerial structure which is main structure. And another thing we have to remember that one, as even NCERT saying that here this root is at end. Okay, this stem when it is end, the stem when it is end, it's going to be look like okay, green. Okay, soft and green. It is going to be soft and green. If it is green, means of course it is photosynthetic. Okay, of course it is photosynthetic. Okay, when it is become mature, means when it is become adult, mature. Okay, when it is become adult, mature or adult, you can say adult, it will convert into woody and brown structure. It is going to be converted into woody and brownish. This is about a stem morphology. When we see the externally, these are stem. As we studied at the last class regarding root. Okay, root and its modification. Okay, in the modification of root, we have studied three different type of modified root. One is for a support system. Okay, for support system, those are nothing but prop root and those are nothing but prop root and stilt root. Okay, stilt root. The prop root we have seen in banyan tree. Okay, like that only a stilt root we have seen in maize and sugarcane. Okay, so these are two type of supportive modifications in a root. Next we have already studied in a root modification only, that is nothing but a storage. For storage, okay, storage. Okay, in this storage the root itself going to be converts itself into bulbous form to store food in the form of a starch. Okay, for that one we have a different type of example. Food storage root. Example is, we used to have that turnip, okay, and carrot, okay, and radish, okay, and sweet potato. Okay. Here this sweet potato is example for adventitious root. Okay, it is a type of root modification, but it is example for a adventitious root. Okay, it is also a type of a root modification. Okay, next the continuation of this one. There is another type of root that is called as a, that is also a type of a root modification. That one is a third root modification, as well as NCERT is saying. Okay, according to the third modification of root, that is called as a respiratory root. That one is called as respiratory root. In this respiratory root, we used to see the root usually come out from soil. Okay, commonly we used to see root inside the soil, but here it is exception which is coming out from a soil aerially. Okay, so aerial growth of root, that one is called as a negatively geotropic. That's why it is called as a negatively geotropic structure. Okay, for this one the best example is, we used to see at a mangrove forest, that is nothing but a rhizophora. Okay, the rhizophora, which is a plant which have a root. Those roots have capacity to rise out from a soil and they used to respire. For these roots have a particular name. The rhizophora roots, they used to call as a nematophora. Okay, these nematophoral structure have capacity to respire. Okay, have capacity to respirate. Okay, nothing but oxygen intake. Okay, so about these things we have discussed at the last class. Okay, so these all things comes under a morphology. Okay, already we have done root morphology, how actually it is growing, from which part of the embryonal axis it is going to be form. And next we have discussed the different reason of a root, and next we have discussed about a different modification of root. Now there is another important structure in a plant that is also a part of morphological structure, and it is very important. That one is called as stem. At last video we have discussed about how actually stem is growing. Okay, from which part of the embryonal axis stem is going to be formed. These all things we have discussed. Okay, and the stem have different parts. Nothing but stem is one aerial structure which have a node and internode. Okay, from nodal region we used to get leaf. Okay, the angle between nodal region and leaf petiole. Okay, at a nodal region there is one angle will form. That angle is called as a axillary. That angle is called as a axil. This axil is formed in between a petiole of leaf and the stem. At that point, the accumulation of a meristematic cell is taking place. The apical meristome some are going to be accumulated. The reason they used to form a bud-like structure. Those are responsible for regrowth of a branch. These all things we have discussed at the last video. Now we are going to discuss this stem modification. Stem also have some modification. Okay, we'll see those things. Okay, stem modification. Stem modification. Okay, so stem used to modify itself to survive and to sustain and survive. Okay, stem to survive and proper function to sustain. It used to make some modification. Those are called as a stem modification. Okay, so this stem modification is mainly categorized in three groups. Okay, the stem modification mainly categorized in three groups. Which are those? The first one is called as a underground. The first one is called as a underground. Okay, the first one is called as a underground. The second one is subaerial. And third one is aerial. Okay, third one is aerial. First one is underground, subaerial, aerial. Okay, as name is indicating, these are underground structure. The first one is underground. These are growing inside the soil. Okay, soil embedded. Okay, structures. Okay, these used to found in a underground stem modification. Next is subaerial. Okay, these they used to half submerged. Okay, you can say submerged in a soil. Okay, submerged in soil. Okay, submerged type of modification. Next is aerial. Okay, those are above the soil. Okay, these are different type of three different type of stem modification. Okay, so in an underground, when we see in an underground, there is a three type of structures. In underground stem modification, there is a three type of structures. You can remember these things like the three type of underground stem modification. Three type of underground stem modification. Okay, those are nothing but rhizome, rhizome. Okay. Next, core. Okay. Next, bulbous. Okay. These three type of stem modifications are there. Okay. Another one is there. That is fourth one. That is tuber. This is also another type of stem modification. Okay. Stop. Start ಮಾಡಲಾ? Okay. So, three type of underground stem. Those are nothing but first one is rhizome. First one is rhizome. Okay. Second one is core. Third one is bulb. Okay. Fourth one is tuber. Okay. These four type of underground stem modification. These are help in storage of food. Okay. These are help in storage of food to survive in adverse condition. Okay, in adverse condition. Example for this different type of stem modification. Okay, for rhizome we have example, that is ginger. Okay, that is ginger and turmeric. Okay, ginger and turmeric are example for a rhizome. Next, core example is colocasia. Okay, colocasia is an example for a core. Okay, next bulb example is onion. Okay, bulb example is onion. The scientific name is Onion cepa. Okay. Next, tuber example is, that is nothing but a potato. Okay, potato is another example for a tuber type of a underground stem. Okay, of stem modification. Okay, there is another type of stem modification, that is called as a subaerial stem modification. That is called as a subaerial stem modification. We have already done underground stem modification. Next one is subaerial stem modification. Subaerial stem modification. This is second type of stem modification. In this, there is a different type of modifications. Those are nothing but first one is there is a four type of stem modifications are there. Those are nothing but first is runner. Okay, second one is stolen. Okay, sucker and runner, stolen, sucker, and another one is offset. Okay, offset. These are four type of subaerial stem modification. Example for a runner is a grass. Example for runner is grass. Okay, we used to see in a grass, the grass are going to be distributed throughout the surface of area of a soil. They have a connection in between the two grass plant. Okay, if this is one grass plant, means there is one aerial growth at the base of a grass. They used to attach to the another place of a mud and that is grow another grass plant. This is the runner. This is the runner we used to form in the grass. Next is stolen. That is also one type of a structure where it is also a type of a aerial modification of a stem. Here the example is mint. Example is mint and jasmine and strawberry. Very. These are examples. Next is sucker. Okay. Next, there is another example, that is sucker. Sucker is called as another type of a stem modification. Here you used to see example is chrysanthus. Okay, chrysanthus, pineapple. Okay, pineapple and banana. These are examples of it. Okay, next is offset type of a root modification. For that one, example is pistia and acornia. Okay, these are different type of example in a subaerial stem modification. Okay, after this there is another type of stem modification, that is called as a aerial type of stem modification. That one is called aerial type of stem modification. Aerial type of stem modification. Okay, this one is called as a third type of stem modification. Okay, aerial type of stem modification. In this type of stem modification, the aerial part of the stem, it is used to above the soil surface, and it aerial type of stem modification. They have three type aerial modification in our NCERT. They have mentioned. The first one is tendril. The first one is tendril, which is also a stem modification. Another one is thorn. Okay. Another one is thorn. And another the important aerial type of stem modification, that is called as a phylloclad. Okay. These three different type of stem modification. Okay. The first stem modification, that is called as a tendril. Okay. Tendril is a modification of a stem which is actually arise from axillary bud. Okay, these are spirally coiled structure which are helpful in climbing. Okay, climbing. These are helpful in climbing. Example for this one is a guard members. Okay, examples is guard. Okay, guard group member. Those are nothing but ash guard, cucumber. Okay, like that. Okay, cucumber. Okay, watermelon. Okay, and ash guard. These are examples for the tendrils. Okay, next another type of stem modification, that is aerial stem modification, that is thorn. Here stem is going to be converted themselves into thorn, where here tendril, the axial point of a stem, nothing but a axillary bud which is going to form a branch. Instead of it is going to form a branch, it is going to form a tendril. Okay, it is going to form a tendril. Like that only. Here in some special plants which shows a thorn. At that plant we used to see they have a thorn, nothing but a spine. They used to help in a protection from herbivores. Okay, so here the axillary bud, which is going to be actually from a branch, that is going to convert into thorn. Okay, one thorn means would be sharp and or sharp tip, sharp tip will form. That one is called as a thorn. Okay, that one is called as a thorn. Okay, this type of arrangement we used to see in a properly at a bougainvillea. In the NCERT they have mentioned an example, that is bougainvillea. That is bougainvillea. Okay, bougainvillea. Okay, here we used to see this thorn structure. The function of this thorn is to give protection from herbivores. To give protection from browsing animals. Okay, browsing animals. Browsing animals, they used to eat higher plants. Okay, from those browsing animals, these thorns give protection to the plants. That's why it is another type of aerial stem modification, that is thorn. After the completion of thorn, there is another type of important stem modification, that one is called as a phylloclad. Okay, it is one flat, a thickened modification. Here the stem itself convert into or modified itself into a flattened fleshy leaf-like structure, that is called as a phylloclad. For this phylloclad, there is an example in your NCERT they have mentioned. In your NCERT. The example is Opentia and Euphorbia. Okay. These type of modification we used to found in arid condition. Arid condition means drought condition. Okay, drought area. Okay, drought area, arid condition, both are nothing but water scarcity is there. Okay, water availability is less. Water availability is less. That area is called as a arid condition or drought condition. At that condition, to survival of plant, they are convert themselves into nothing but the plant stem is convert themselves into phylloclad. Here the example for phylloclads are, one is Opentia, another one is Euphorbia. Okay, the Opentia is a flattened structure. Opentia is a leaf-like thick structure. Okay, on this the nodes are converted into spines. Okay, Like that only in euphorbia. This is a cylindrical structure. Here on this nodal region also, spines are arise. Both spines are responsible for protection from browsing animals. Okay, this is all about a stem modification. At the next class, we will see the next topic. Okay, up to that, hope you all got my content. Thank you.